So the Buffy reboot fell apart. Again. Hulu, Sarah Michelle Gellar, the whole thing.
You panicked.
And then they pulled the plug. If your VHS tape had a sticker on it, you already know what I mean. Let's start light with a fun one.
The thought that there's a vampire out there that looks like...
Anya fumbles a spell and accidentally yanks Willow's vampire double in from another dimension. She and Willow do the spell together. Also, Anya can get her stolen necklace back. That vampire Willow wasn't some big plan.
Buffy, this is the first day and we've already got this much drama?
To pull this off, to make an episode that people just love because it's so funny and light, you actually have to spend a few good episodes just getting the audience to fall for Willow as a specific person. You need that foundation so that when you finally show her as the complete opposite, it's a total thrill, just like the original.
I don't like you. Well, wait. Get off me!
Would a reboot even survive long enough to reach that point? Well, that's the question. But anyway, the whole joke only works because you already know her so well. And there's a line in there, real Willow looking at her evil self and going, I think I'm kinda gay, as a throwaway joke that fans still bring up constantly because it ended up being foreshadowing, not just a punchline. A spell goes sideways and the whole gang wakes up with total amnesia.
I'm not sure what I am, so bear with me here. And now I lay me down to sleep.
No idea who they are, no idea what they are to each other. Heck, even Spike assumes that Giles is his father because they're both British, and it's hilarious. That's the trick of it.
Father. Oh, God, how I must hate you.
Best part, the tag sewn into Spike's jacket literally reads, made with care for Randy. So within about 10 seconds, Randy Giles becomes the show's best-worst nickname.
Randy!
Hey, I'm a superhero too!
Because by season 6, these people were buried under lies and heartbreak, and for one episode, the writers just wiped it clean. Let you feel what they were like before everything went dark. And then the spell breaks. It all comes flooding back at once, for them and for you. But that landing only works if you remember what they forgot. Now, how a normal show would have played Amnesia back then? As a wacky one-off. Everybody laughs, reset button, done. Think about how a sitcom like Scrubs or Grey's Anatomy plays with Amnesia. Someone forgets a name, hijinks ensue, cut to commercial. Buffy used the gimmick to gut you. You're sitting there holding 6 years of weight they got to put down, which makes you the saddest person in the room when they pick it all back up. A brand new show can't do that to you. There's nothing to forget. Okay, this is the one where Buffy sleeps with Angel for the first time. Wait, no, that's actually the episode before, surprise. Innocence is the morning after, when Angel's already gone and already gone bad.
Do that.
Angel?
He's not Angel anymore. Are you?
He's literally a completely different person, because the curse on him means that one moment of true happiness rips his soul out and turns him into something monstrous. The cold open doesn't waste a second on it either. Angel crawls out of an alley.
You want me to call 911?
No. Pain is gone.
And 30 seconds later, he's draining a stranger dry and muttering, I feel just fine. That's the whole episode's thesis in one scene. And, well, let me get a little deep this time, because doing this in 1998 on a teen show, every other show aimed at teenagers treated the first time as a milestone, like a very special after-school special kind of moment with a tidy lesson attached. But Buffy turned it into a horror story. You give yourself to someone, and the next morning they're cold and cruel and unrecognizable. Well, actually, that's just dating nowadays. But back then, every teenager watching understood that in their gut, even if they couldn't explain a word of the supernatural mechanics. And the reason it cuts so deep is timing. The show spent a whole season making you root for these two. So when the person Buffy trusts the most becomes the thing she has to kill, you only get your heart broken by that once. Cordelia, fed up and humiliated, makes this throwaway wish that Buffy had never come to Sunnydale.
I wish Buffy Summers had never come to Sunnydale.
And a vengeance demon goes, done. And here's the fun part if you only know Anya is the blunt ex-demon running the magic shop later. This episode is her origin reveal. The random new girl who name drops designer handbags all episode turns out to be an 1120-year-old vengeance demon who's been granting "I wish my boyfriend was dead" wishes since before the printing press. Suddenly, we're in this nightmare version of the town where vampires run everything. Willow and Xander are cold-blooded killers, and the good guys are quietly losing.
Welcome to the future.
We're all used to the alternate universe episode by now. Like, the what if version is practically a checkbox every genre show ticks eventually. It's basically Star Trek's evil mirror universe thing, minus the goatees. Everyone's just a worse version of themselves, and the show actually lets that sit instead of winking at you. But what The Wish does that most of them won't is let the bad timeline actually win. I like that there's no tidy reset where everybody learns a lesson, and it only lands because of recognition. Seeing Willow as a vampire works because you adore the real Willow, the one who can barely finish a sentence. The episode is basically taking your love for these people and turning it against you. So, same problem as Doppelgangland. A first season's got nothing in the bank to spend. Quick heads up, if you bail now, you'll miss the big three, so make sure you stick to the end. Oh, the finale. And instead of Buffy saving the world alone one more time, the show flips its own rulebook.
Now I'm pissed.
The whole premise was always one chosen girl per generation, right? So Willow casts a spell that wakes up the Slayer power in every potential girl on Earth, all at once. After 7 years of Buffy being the loneliest person alive because of what she was, the ending is her giving that power away so that no girl ever has to be that alone again. People still argue about this one, mostly around how fast Anya's death gets acknowledged mid-battle.
She was incredible. She died saving my life.
One line from Xander and the show just keeps moving. Some call that cold. I think that's actually the point. In a fight for the literal end of the world, grief doesn't get a scene. It gets a beat. And that only means something as the last page of a very long book. The entire payoff sits on 7 seasons of watching how isolating her whole deal was. Sure, a reboot can get here eventually, but it's got to walk the same 7-year road first. You can't open on the finale. If you made it this far without hitting like, I don't know what you're waiting for. The next 3 are the whole reason this video exists. Now, Season 2 finale, and it's where the show finally makes good on its central promise that Buffy can't be the Slayer and have a normal life. Willow tries a spell to give Angel his soul back, and it works. His soul comes back. In the exact second, Buffy has to run him through with a sword to save the world.
Where are we? I don't remember.
And there's a detail buried in there that fans still pick at. Xander is the one who runs to tell Buffy about Widow's spell.
Xander.
Calvary's here. Calvary's a frightened guy with a rock, but it's here. That's better.
And when she asks what message Willow actually sent, he just says, "Kick his ass." When we never find out what Willow really told him to say. Given what happens between the sheets of that sword 10 minutes later, that's not a small thing to leave out. She kills the man she loves at the precise moment he becomes worth saving again. It's one of the most agonizing things the show ever did, and notice it's sitting down at number 6, when the top 5 are, I warn you, mostly quiet, sad episodes. That's the point. By the finale, that cruelty is earned. Knowing this, do you really think you could fall for Angel the way that you did back then? I'll leave that question open. The musical. A demon rolls into Sunnydale and makes everyone burst into song, and the genius is that the singing is a truth serum. The spell forces people to sing the things that they've been desperately hiding, which is how Buffy finally confesses the secret she's been carrying all season. That when her friends pulled her out of the grave, they didn't save her from hell. They dragged her out of heaven. Now, Buffy didn't technically invent the musical episode, but this is the one everybody copied. After this aired in 2001, the floodgates opened. Scrubs did one, Grey's Anatomy did one, Community, Riverdale, even Star Trek just a couple years ago. But here's why none of them topped it. Joss Whedon had never written a musical in his life. Never written music, period. He taught himself for this, and by the cast's own accounts, they were terrified. Convinced it was going to be a disaster on national TV. Allison Hannigan was so scared of singing she begged for almost no lines, and the one real line they gave her is a little wink at exactly that. She sings, "I think this line's mostly filler," which is real Hannigan, in character, basically apologizing for existing in a song she didn't want to be in. A reboot would hire Broadway singers and a real composer and sand every bit of that terror right off. But the terror is the reason that it feels alive. Even Anya's bunny phobia freakout song isn't random, by the way. The show planned that fear 2 full seasons earlier in Fear itself. That's a joke that sat loaded for 2 years before they finally let it fire. Halfway through season 2, Soulless Angel, corners the gang's beloved teacher, Jenny Calendar, at the school, and he snaps her neck.
This is where you get off.
And then he arranges her body in Giles' bed, with rose petals leading up the stairs so the man who just started falling for her finds her like a present. Before he can even get to Jenny, he's already broken into Buffy's bedroom while she's asleep and left a pencil sketch of her on the pillow. Unsigned because he doesn't need to sign it. The murder is the loud part of the episode. The sketch is the part that actually tells you what he's become.
I wasn't ready.
This is the clean example of the whole list, honestly, because passion breaks a rule. Back in 1998, a show you trusted did not casually murder a warm, recurring character that you loved. For some reason, you just knew that your faves were safe. That was the unspoken deal between a show and its audience. Buffy tore the deal up, and it changed for all of us. Maybe that's why those of us who already went through it didn't freak out as much when Game of Thrones started killing off a main character every week. Honestly, after seeing that, nothing else really hits the same way. Fairy tale monsters called the Gentlemen float into town and steal everybody's voices, so that when they start cutting out hearts, nobody can scream. And for about half of its 44 minutes, the episode has no dialogue at all. And the reason it exists is kind of petty in the best way. Critics kept saying that Buffy only worked because of its clever dialogue, so Whedon went fine and wrote an episode that threw the dialogue out completely, just to prove the show was built on something deeper. And he won it. It's the only Buffy episode ever nominated for a writing Emmy.
Because there will be chaos. You will help keep order. Dress as civilians. A military presence would only increase.
The Gentlemen, by the way, straight out of a nightmare Whedon had as a kid, and they tap into this old silent movie kind of dread. You can actually draw a straight line from The Gentlemen to A Quiet Place almost 20 years later. Same core idea, sound equals death. Hush just got there first, on a TV budget in 1999. Ask around, this is still the episode people name when you say scariest thing on TV, the kind of thing that had grown adults afraid to walk past a dark window. And the best moment isn't even the scary one. It's Giles working through a silent overhead projector slideshow with actual crayon drawings, while Xander just cups his own chest and mouths boobies, trying to guess what the monsters actually want.
Sunnydale, California. Apparently the entire town has been quarantined.
Funny and horrifying in the same breath. The problem with the reboot is that modern TV is obsessed with pacing. Every minute has to have a hook, a line of dialogue. But Hush took a massive budget and essentially paralyzed the narrative for this episode. Try to convince the studio to take that risk in today's world. Season 5 finale, and it's a loaded one for a couple of reasons. It was the show's 100th episode, and it was written as a possible series ender, because Buffy was about to jump networks and nobody knew for sure if it would survive the move. So Buffy's up against a hell god, and the only way to close the portal ripping the world apart is a blood sacrifice. Her sister Dawn's blood, or her own, and she figures out what this creepy prophecy actually meant. Death is your gift. It was never about her power to kill. It meant her willingness to die. So she jumps, trades her life for her sisters and the whole world, and the season ends on her gravestone. That hammer that Buffy's swinging at an actual god, by the way, belonged to Anya's ex-boyfriend from literally 1,000 years ago, back when she was still human. She's the one who turned him into a troll after he cheated on her, which is actually how she became a vengeance demon in the first place. The show introduces that hammer 11 episodes earlier and just trusts you to remember it. It's a full circle ending for everything the show ever said about what being a hero costs, but it only carries that weight because of Dawn. And here I want to take a moment to honor Michelle Trachtenberg, who played Dawn so beautifully. A reboot can stage a girl jumping off a tower, but without Michelle, this moment just doesn't hit the same. Kind of like the final Euphoria episode without the real Angus Cloud. It's a bit of a stretch, I know, don't come for me, or actually go ahead. Let me know in the comments if you think they actually pulled that off. Anyway, here's the one that a lot of you have been waiting for, and kind of dreading. Buffy comes home and finds her mom, Joyce, dead on the couch because of an aneurysm. The most ordinary, unstoppable thing in the whole world. And for all those minutes, the show just refuses to look away from what grief actually feels like. And you have to remember what TV did with death back then. The 90s were the era of the very special episode, where a character faces something heavy, there's a swelling music cue, a tidy lesson, everybody hugs, and it's resolved by the credits. But Whedon hated that. So when the biggest loss in the series arrives, there's no lesson and no comfort. And the way he signals that is one decision: no music.
Remember?
Okay, it's very simple. You want to tilt your mother's head back. Cover her mouth with yours.
And this is a big deal because the score normally is the show telling you how to feel. Whedon ripped that on purpose because he said that music is a comfort and he didn't want to comfort you. So every single thing you felt watching it came from you. Sarah Michelle Gellar has said she's proud of that episode, but she can't bring herself to watch it. And this is a show about vampires that later got mapped scene by scene against Tabula Rasa's 5 stages of grief by an actual Buffy scholar, and it's been cited in funeral industry writing for how accurately it nails shock and disassociation. That's not a compliment that critics usually hand a show about vampires. Whedon called it the best thing he'll ever do, and the proof it worked is that grief on TV used to be that tidy after-school special sort of thing, and now you've got 6 Feet Under or This Is Us, whole shows built around honest loss. The body got there first, and arguably did it better in 44 minutes than most of them manage in a season. So that's the whole answer to the reboot question right there. These episodes were great because of years of patience, because somebody dared to break a rule for the very first time, and because the show kept turning its own limits into the entire point. Hand a reboot every advantage there is, and you take away the one thing that made these 11 hours impossible to forget. If you know of a Buffy episode that hits harder than the body, I want to hear it. And here's one for the road. There's a 38-year-old secret sitting inside somewhere in time that's still waiting for somebody to notice it. Go dig it out.